Early. Alright, who's ready? I'm ready. What's up? How's it going, people? I... Something's not right with my setup right now. Hold on. Something's not quite spaced the way I want it to be. I think my keyboard needs to be a little bit more... There we go. Okay, so... I've got now everything kind of where I want it to be, I think. Yeah. That's good. All right, let's go play Pokemon. Let's do that. Oops, that's a folder for a video I was working on, and actually that is now up on YouTube that you guys will be able to watch at youtube.com/. I don't remember the URL. That's not important. Here, I'm here to play Pokemon. Emeralds 8. There we go. Very good. Yeah. So, where I last left off in this game, I had just caught Esteban, the Ghastly, and Sigma, the Trapinch. And I now have a full team of 8, rather than 6. This is Pokemon Emeralds 8, lets you have a party of 8 members, which I think is very cool. It allows for very creative teams to be built, I think. There's something to be said about like adding something that isn't strictly an upgrade, even though it might seem that way. This does introduce some trade-offs with the kind of team construction you would be able to build. If you wanted a full team, you would have to more carefully consider if you have overlapping types of Pokemon, and I quite enjoy that, especially because it could potentially force people to use Pokemon that they might not otherwise, and to use types that they might not otherwise, you know? It could be tempting to put an early game bug type Pokemon on a team like this, just to occupy a given type slot, and also to have sort of a filler Pokemon if you need it, because you've got 7 other spots to work with. As opposed to with 6, it's a little bit more constricting. But, you know, you have to think a little bit outside the box. So, let's go back into level grinding. Or rather, training up Esteban and Sigma to be level 32 like the rest of my Pokemon are. And then to go back to Petalburg City because, well, now that I have 4 gym badges, I can actually challenge the gym there and beat up my dad in the video game. I would never do this to my father in real life. However, in the video game, that's what you're supposed to do in the game. It's telling me to do this. I didn't want to do it, Your Honor. The game made me do it. Alright. I think I'm gonna try to maybe migrate to the northern part of this desert so that I can be close to the house with the old lady that heals you. That might be a good idea. In fact, it's probably going to be the thing I have to do. See, I saw a 1v3 in chat earlier. I don't know where they are now. I'll wait for some familiar faces to come in before I lay out some new stuff that's going on with the Twitch chat. But there is also new stuff going on in the world outside of Twitch. Crazy things happening. Funny things happening, in fact. Very funny things. But I'm gonna chill out a little bit before I get to those things. You see, I'm very bad at pacing myself. You know, I'm sure people have noticed if they've watched the stream for long enough. I tend to go on long enough, you know, when I'm talking, to actually put myself out of breath. And now that it's autumn, you know, now that it's fall, it's getting a bit cooler. The air's also getting thinner, which actually means that the air is I'm gonna run out of breath a lot quicker. The air's thinner, and you know I get tired more easily. And I was already bad at pacing myself when the air was more abundant and more accommodating and such. But you know now it's be getting real tired. I'm going to have to slow it down just a little bit, and I hope that's okay. Even though I know that might not be the greatest thing for viewership. I know that, like, Twitch and YouTube algorithms have certain incentive structures that would it would skew towards me just talking still, you know, talking about a lot of stuff, so that there's not like too much gaps in the airtime. There's not too much like empty space on the stream. I'm sure you guys know what's what on that particular subject there. Let's keep... This is going to be a process, getting these guys to level 30-something. Because they're not very good right now. Ghastly at level 17, 18, doesn't know any special moves. There is physical special split in this game, which is very cool. But no Ominous Wind. None yet, anyways. Actually, what am I doing? I have TMs. I could teach Ghastly... Wait, he can't learn Shockwave? Lame! Very lame. I don't think I need to teach much to Trapinch. Trapinch has a base 100 attack stat, which is kind of crazy for an unevolved Pokemon. It drops... You know, it's funny. Trapinch is one of the few Pokemon that experiences a stat drop on evolution. Its attack drops from 100 down to 70, and then when it evolves into Flygon, it goes back up to 100. So for a while, you're actually working with a slightly weaker Pokemon, although it is considerably faster and better in many other ways. For example, a Dragon-type, secondary typing, meaning you get stabbed from Dragon-type moves, much faster. You know, learns quite a few good moves between evolving from Trapinch and evolving into Flygon. I really like this evolutionary line, if you couldn't tell. And of course, that's the reason I picked one up, is because it's super cool. In fact, this is one of the earliest points in Pokemon games where you can get a Dragon type. You know, obviously, if you don't count Charizard from Pokemon X and Y, where they introduce Megas, I think it would just be Trapinch here. You can get it after the 4th gym. I think the only other game where you might be able to get a Dragon type in a comparable spot in the game is the Johto games and the remakes, where you can find a... you can actually find Dratini, I think, by way of fishing in certain areas. Which is cool. I like having Dragon types available early on. Very fun thing. But enough about that. Let's go to one of the few news outlets that I actually will routinely rely on, at least semi-routinely, and that I think has pretty good news coverage, all things considered. Associated Press. They have been covering live. They've been covering the current drama in the House of Representatives. Now, you guys might remember I talked about this. You know, people who watch my stream might remember me talking about this in my Minecraft live streams. And in fact, there is a piece of that still in there, in the stream footage that I've been editing to make a series of videos about me playing Minecraft. That's going to be coming to the channel in a little while, hopefully. I'm pretty close to being done. It only requires a couple more weeks of me working on it, I think. It's a pretty big undertaking. Regardless, I think I was incorrect that time in what would happen. I think it was always going to be the case then that the Republicans would eventually fall in line behind Kevin McCarthy at the time and elect him as the House Speaker, which they did, and he became the House Speaker for about 9 months before he was ousted. And now that whole shtick is repeating itself. They're having to go through the same song and dance once more. This time, the Republican Party is actually in even more disarray, if you can believe it, than in January of this year. They have had actually 13 secret ballots. So for those who aren't familiar with how Congress works and stuff like this, for the House speakership and other such votes where the party has to agree on something, sometimes they will do a secret ballot behind closed doors before they commence the official process. And then once they've all decided, okay, this is how we're going to vote, we've hashed this out in private, you know, we've done the whole song and dance of who's going to get what concessions in favor of in exchange for like voting for this person or this bill or whatever, and then they vote for their candidate. The Republicans convened behind closed doors and did that more than 10 times consecutively, debating whether to put Steve Scalise, who is, according to himself, like David Duke without the baggage. David Duke, of course, being a former Klan leader of the KKK. It was between him and Jim Jordan, also known as Jim, like Gymnasium Jordan, for covering up the sexual assault of various college athletes during his time as coach of the wrestling team, I believe, or one of the staff at University of Ohio, I think. Nightshade. That's pretty good, I think. Get rid of curse. So we have for the ballot for the Republican nomination, there was the choice between a white supremacist and a child molester, or rather a young adult molester, or whatever. I choose to say child molester because that's way funnier, and also I think this was... I could swear that it was also, like, he was at a high school somewhere. I think that was a thing. It wasn't just at the University of Ohio. I could be misremembering there, but it's way funnier if you say that the Republicans have decided unanimously, except not unanimously, to put their best child molester forward. Makes for way better jokes and punchlines and stuff. We do a little bit of lefty misinfo on this channel. Anyways, they had 10 speaker votes, and those were the choices behind closed doors for the Republican Party, and they still couldn't pick. So now we've gotten to the basically the same place we were in 9 months ago, where the Republicans and Democrats have come to the floor of the House, and they have started voting for a Speaker of the House, and the Democrats are all falling in line behind Hakeem Jeffries. They've decided that's their guy, and they're very disciplined in voting for him. Meanwhile, the Republicans can't decide between Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, Kevin McCarthy, and like a couple of other people. There's already been a House Speaker vote that failed. Jim Jordan has failed to get the House speakership. And there's currently a second Speaker vote going on right now, as per the Associated Press. And never mind, I guess we're going on to a third. Representative Jim Jordan appeared headed for defeat in a second round of balloting for Speaker on Wednesday, failing to convince his Republican detractors to support him to replace the ousted Kevin McCarthy. Jordan lost 20 Republican votes Tuesday and pleaded afterward with his colleagues to stop attacking each other and come together. Follow our live coverage of Wednesday's vote. Jordan loses... Okay, 26 seconds ago. I'm going to actually show this on stream because live news feeds tend to get outdated really fast. 26 seconds ago, Jordan loses 22 Republicans, more than in first round. So now the final vote was 212 votes for Hakeem Jeffries and 199 for Jordan, with other people voting for alternatives or in like one or two cases voting present, which is like abstaining from voting, but in a formal capacity. It was not immediately clear what next steps would be. conference is debating whether to put a resolution on the floor that would give the temporary speaker more power or adjourn to discuss a path forward in a closed-door conference like they did the past 13 times. What's up, 1v3? Welcome to chat. It's first time chatting with your alt, I guess. I actually had decided to give you and Opium again mod privileges because I decided I trust you two. So you might notice there's a little sword next to your name there. Jordan said before the second round of voting began that he supports putting the resolution to a floor vote. I think this is Jim Jordan's way of basically conceding that he's probably not going to get the speakership, at least not anytime soon. And as far as we know, this is going to continue, much like this, the fiasco in January did, where maybe the Republicans coalesce behind somebody, but with people casting votes for Republicans that aren't even in office, and some people choosing not to vote at all, I think the United States is going to be without a speaker for a little while, somewhat like in January. And it's possible that the funniest timeline becomes a reality where we have a right-wing majority, a Republican majority, with a Democratic House Speaker, where enough people vote present, and maybe one or two Republicans defects to vote for Hakeem Jeffries, that he becomes Speaker of the House. I predicted a similar thing in January, and I was wrong. I will fully admit that. And I think the circumstances on the ground were such that I should have seen that coming, should have seen that that wouldn't have happened. And it's possible that we're facing the same circumstances here. However, I really do believe that this time, this is more likely to happen than last time, even if it doesn't happen, because the Republican Party has even less internal cohesion nowadays. It would be like, imagine in a parliamentary system in Europe, or, you know, a coalition government or whatever. Imagine if there was a conservative majority, but the prime minister was a socialist. Like, the Socialist Party put forward a candidate for prime minister, and the conservative parties were so incoherent and so disorganized that enough of them, like, voted for alternatives or voted for the socialist candidate that the socialist MP became prime minister. That's the sort of thing we're dealing with here. Although, I guess, in this case, we would be dealing with, like, the Democrats are a liberal social democrat party, kind of, and not as much socialist leaning. However, it is the same degree of funny to me when that happens, I think. Double account, let's go. Yeah, we're seeing double here. We got doppelgangers in chat. But the case remains, in the House of Representatives, since things require a Speaker of the House to get moving, it's part of the legislative process that a Speaker of the House has to be involved in like bringing things to a floor vote and like conducting business in the House. Legislation can't be introduced or passed until there is a House Speaker. So since there's actually a government shutdown looming, it was temporarily staved off with a continuing resolution. But that resolution runs out in mid-November, so about a month from now. There is a strict 1-month time limit for the Republicans, or, you know, I mean, really just the Republicans, to decide what their course of action will be to get a Speaker of the House. Whether that be Jim Jordan, or whether that be Steve Scalise, or whether that be even Hakeem Jeffries if a couple of Republicans defect, or if enough of them vote present. That's the scenario we're looking at. Regardless of who it is, it's going to have to be somebody before November, otherwise the government will shut down. Granted, the government has shut down before in the United States, and every single time the government has shut down, it has been the fault of the right-wing party, the Republican Party. But, you know, it would be bad if that happened. It's pretty bad when that happens, so I would like it to not happen. And I think many people would like that to not happen. Is there anything new from Associated Press? Nothing new from the Associated Press. I guess we'll know as time goes on how many votes they end up losing out on this time. The Republicans, that is. Politics is such a fucking circus sometimes. I feel like that's more the case in the U.S. than it is in other countries too. Because in the United States, we have a weird amalgam of like parliamentary systems and first past the post. I mean, it is a first past the post system, but there's still a lot of coalition building that has to go on in government between parties and often within parties. The Republican Party actually has separate, like, coalitions within it, as does the Democratic Party. But the Democratic Party, I think, is better at recognizing short to intermediate term objectives and pulling its coalition together than the Republican Party is. Again, I'll refer to something that actually Destiny had to say on the matter, somebody who I very rarely disagree with, but I think he was correct on this matter, which is that lefty infighting on the left tends to be online. You know, maybe content creators get involved and there's some drama, but it's mostly confined to like the internet space and people who aren't so much in power anywhere. Meanwhile, the infighting that's on the right is at the institutional level, at the level of state and federal Republican parties ripping themselves apart over minute differences in policy objectives. Like, the infighting on the right is so much more real and so much more consequential than the infighting on the left. And I think that the Democrats need to take that to their advantage. They need to use that to their advantage, since the Republicans are showing really no signs of, like, stopping the whole infighting charade at this juncture, you know? I mean, we've seen the degree to which they're willing to be super catty with each other. And again, part of the reason that is because politics in the United States is way more of like a popularity contest of certain personalities than it is in Europe, where in Europe you would be voting for the party rather than the candidate themselves most of the time. But, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself in this instance. It's possible that there's a Republican House Speaker, but in either case, I think there's a significant development to be taken away from this and from the past 9 months, which is that regardless of whether the Republicans even get what they want in the House Speaker vote and negotiations, they're not getting shit done. Like, they're not doing shit in the legislative sessions. We saw how that turned out over the past 9 months. Funnily enough, the Republicans, in, I think, the whole 9 months that Kevin McCarthy was the Speaker of the House, Republicans didn't get jack shit passed through the House of Representatives. You know, they maybe, like, if I went to congress.gov, there's a public database where all of the, like, records of laws that have been passed through Congress are kept. Maybe I would be able to find some, like, very routine proceedings that, yeah, okay, they passed this budget thing and they passed the blah, 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 and then, like, stuff that you would never hear about in the news, right? Those are, like, relatively minute and almost don't even count from a policy-making perspective. And in some cases, they haven't even gotten those done. So if that is of any indication, the past 9 months under Kevin McCarthy, who was very shiftless and willing to offer concessions to the most unsavory of people, then whoever the speaker is this time for the Republicans, they're not going to be able to do anything, which is good because, as I've outlined in past segments, the Republican Party is you know, a fascist party. They do not like democracy. They don't like you. They don't like me. They don't like a lot of people, in fact. So anything that they do pass would most likely be to the detriment of the public good. So in this case, them not being able to do anything is a good thing, whereas this does potentially open up the Democratic Party to be able to say, hey, the Republicans can't do jack shit, elect us. Of course, that's campaign trail stuff. But more likely, in the meantime, they could potentially get some concessions on certain legislative projects from Republican Congress people, since the party's in such a state of disarray, maybe they would be able to, like, tap somebody on the shoulder. Hey, we can give you some extra funding in your constituency if you support this bill that is, you know, supportive of queer families and whatever. Again, small chance, but everything that we can do, or everything that is to the Republicans' detriment and is to the benefit of the left in Congress is potentially very helpful. So to wrap up, drama is happening in the House again. Republicans have attempted and failed to elect a speaker, in fact, a couple of times now. All indications are that this is going to continue for a considerable length of time. It's going to have to end at some point before November because a government shutdown is happening. And regardless of what happens, the Republicans aren't getting jack shit done. And this seems to be a good thing on balance. The fact that the Republican Party is so incoherent right now, I think, presents a good thing for the United States, because it means they will no longer be able to wreak the havoc of austerity politics the way they have been doing since the days of Reagan. And it further supports what I have said in other segments, where I think the GOP is on its last legs, and there will not be a Republican Party in the United States for too much longer. I might see them disappear into obscurity in my lifetime. And from then, that opens up more opportunities for the left and more opportunities for, like, social ownership and maybe not going that far, but certainly in terms of, like, social safety nets. Cut the segment there. Future me, you know what to do. That was good. That was a good segment. Let me write that down. Uh-huh. Very good. Yes, House speakership drama. We love a good drama in the House of Representatives. This level grinding has been taking a while. It's a good thing I have stuff to talk about. 24. Ooh, almost level 25. That's when Ghastly evolves. Then I will have a much cooler Pokemon. Wait, what am I going to the desert for? I could be going, like, over here. I'm very silly. Well, these guys don't give too much experience, but maybe... Yeah, here we go. Here's a... Yeah, I can actually kind of rely on these guys to give me some EXP. Alright, nice. Boom. I talked about the Emerson College poll and why I hate it so much. I'm not gonna do that again. I don't know why that's still on my list. Oh, right. Hold on. No, I don't think I want to make that a segment. I've already said my piece about polling and why I don't like it, at least in the United States. Again, it's like Epic Desert gameplay where my ice cream. True, you need some ice cream for hanging out in the desert. Ideal snack. Esteban evolved into Haunter. Trying to learn Shadow Punch. Well, it's better than Lick. But yeah, a lot of why I don't like polling is kind of contingent on the first past the post system, where things end up being a popularity contest and the polls for support for a candidate is ultimately, like, not that helpful. So. Ah. Alright, Haunter's much more capable than Ghastly here, it seems. Get out of here, Spinda. Oh, right, this is not Generation 6 or onward. Ghost is not very effective against Steel. Steel was such an insanely good type before Generation 6. And it's still insanely good, it's just a different kind of good. It used to be the case that the you know, the only types Steel was strong against were Rock and Ice, which Ice isn't that exceptional, but, you know, obviously Rock is a good type to be good against. But then Steel resisted a lot of different types. It resisted normal, grass, rock, like flying, dragon, dark, ghost, what else? Itself, obviously, and ice. It was resistant to more than half the types on the type chart. Oh, and also bugs, so 10. There we go. So it was like, it was basically Steel was the single best defensive typing in the whole game. If you had like a Pokemon with a good stat spread and they were Steel type, that was like your defensive anchor. It was like, that was it. You didn't need anything else for defense. But in Generation 6, when they introduced Fairy type, they also made a couple changes to Steel type. For one, they made Steel super effective against Fairy. Not entirely sure how that works, unless you mean you take a giant I-beam and you crush Tinkerbell with it. Poor bastard. Rest in peace, you know? But they also took away a couple of Steel's resistances. Steel type no longer resists Dark type or Ghost type. So now, instead of resisting 10 out of the 17 types, it resists 8 out of the 18 types. Actually, no, 9 out of the 18 types, because it resists Fairy. And is actually immune to one of the types. It's immune to Poison. Which, in Generation 6 and onward, is a much better benefit than in prior generations. Because in prior generations, the only thing Poison was good against was Grass. You know, and even regardless of how strong a given type is, it's never really a good thing to only be strong against one other type, right? But in Generation 6 and onward, Poison was good against, is good against Grass, and now Fairy as well. So Steel has the advantage of being immune to the other thing that's good against Fairy types, which is great. And there was also in Generation 2, I believe. I don't know. I don't remember if they fixed it in Gen 3 or Gen 4. The move Twin Needle, move unique to Beedrill, I think, has the chance to poison the opponent. But for whatever reason, I think in Generation 2, Steel type was immune to Poison type attacks, but it was not immune to Poison type status. So if you had a move that could poison your opponent that was not Poison type, it could affect Steel types. So in Generation 2, if you used Twin Needle, it could poison the Steel type. Which was a weird... It was an oversight. It was not a glitch, because there was nothing wrong in the programming that it was like, oh, this code isn't supposed to execute this way. The code was being executed exactly how it was supposed to be, but the developers didn't intend for that to be possible. They didn't realize that the logical implications of what they had written. So I guess they went back and fixed it in Generation 3 and 4, so that Steel type is now immune to both Poison type attacks and the Poison status, which is why Twin Needle no longer works like that. I feel like Pokemon, more than a lot of other games, is one thing where I have a lot to say. I really have a lot to say about Pokemon. Almost as much as I have to say about politics, funnily enough. Although I do self-proclaimedly, your boy listen to 2 streams at the same time right now. Let's go. What a multitasker. Forgot how busy this stuff can get. Yeah. Hey, you know, don't be afraid to put me on mute or put the other guy on, like, don't strain your brain too much, you know, just do one at a time. Yeah, as I was saying, I do self-proclaimedly have a master's degree in Pokemon. Ain't got no brain up here anyways. Very true. Who among us has a brain? Certainly not I. I said among us. Is my clip button not working? Oh, that's unfortunate. Let me go to clips. No, it's working. Okay. Never mind. Oopsie. You know, having used Mamoswine in Pokemon Blaze Black 2 Redux, it's really not all it's cracked up to be, you know? Like, I was expecting Mamoswine to be better than it was. I guess that's kind of what you get from the ice typing, right? You know, I was talking about Steel being the best defensive type. Ice is the worst defensive type. It has the fewest resistances. Ice only resists ice type moves. It doesn't resist anything else, and it is weak to a lot of types that you see a lot in regular play, but also in competitive play. I think Ice is weak to Rock, Steel, Fighting, and Fire. Although it is a good offensive type, it's good if you have an Ice type move, but if your Pokemon is Ice type, I think it's, you know, kind of speaks to an Achilles heel defensively. I guess that's why Glaceon wasn't very good. Man, you know, that's a shame. I really like Glaceon, and so do a lot of people. Evolutions are just really, really cool designs. Yay, level 30. Okay. So I guess I know in the future, for the future, one of two things. Either don't use Mamoswine, or if I use Mamoswine, maybe I should make it a bit faster. I think maybe the mistake I made was more so that I tried to have Mamoswine as some sort of defensive fixture on my team, rather than having it be just another like moderately fast, bulky attacker, you know. Because like I said, Ice type has a hard time standing up to certain things. You know, things that you see relatively commonly. Even the things that Ice is strong against, it doesn't resist. Like I mentioned, Ice only resists itself. So Ice is strong against flying and dragon and ground and grass, but it doesn't resist those types. So if I send Mamoswine in against a grass type, I'm still at a disadvantage because he's part ground type. Ice isn't going to do much for me there. You know, unless I use Ice Shard, which is like Ice type quick attack. Oops. I have been poisoned. I'm so glad that they removed the thing where you take damage from poison in the overworld. That was so annoying in these games. In Generation 4, they like mitigated it by making it so that your Pokemon couldn't faint in the overworld if they were poisoned. Right? It was like, oh, they survived the poisoning, it faded away. Which was good. But still, you get that annoying noise every few steps. You know what I feel? I feel another political topic coming on. I don't know if I'll make this a segment. I don't think there's enough to it to make it a segment. So you guys are probably familiar with the concept of net neutrality if you spend a lot of time on the internet. It's basically the principle and the legal standard, regulatory standard, that internet providers can't throttle your connection to certain websites. Like basically, if they provide you a certain amount of bandwidth, you get that bandwidth no matter what you do on the internet. And they can't, like, throttle your connection. They can't do anything like that. ISPs would sometimes, they would, like, if they visited, if they saw people, like, or not if they saw people, but if they had certain competitor websites, they would throttle the connection to those websites to prevent people from going there, or to make the experience worse for people on those websites. Or if there were certain sites that they didn't want to be, like, affiliated with, or something like that, then they would also throttle the connection there. Basically, it's a way for these companies to sort of cut costs in a way that's very dishonest, and ultimately, like, goes against the spirit of the sort of contract or the EULA or whatever it is that you sign when you get a certain internet package, when they say you're going to get this much bandwidth for your daily needs on the internet and whatnot, stuff like that. Basically, the way I experience it, because I've had this before. You guys might remember in my Super Mario Galaxy live streams, there was one live stream where my bitrate was atrocious. That was actually a product of my internet provider throttling my connection, because I was using, it was like I was using more bandwidth per however long than I was allotted or whatever. Or like I was using streaming services too much or something like that. And so that they throttled my internet connection, even though our internet speeds are supposed to be a lot better than that. Net neutrality would mean that they can't do that. I'm taking way too long to get to the point. More Perfect Union put out a tweet. Apparently, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, which is the group that's in charge of regulating the internet in America, is about to hold a crucial vote on net neutrality. This is a quote from them. Tomorrow, the commission will decide whether or not to assert its authority to regulate internet providers. If the vote passes, new net neutrality regulations will very likely be implemented next year. This is great news, I think, because it means that you're gonna have universally applicable internet speeds for every website, which really should have just been the case from the get-go, but I guess not. Granted, I don't know how the vote from the FCC is going to go. As far as I know, Ajit Pai is still the chair? Here, hold on. FCC chair. No, actually, it is not Ajit Pai anymore. Jessica Rosenworcel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it is not Ajit Pai. They are not Ajit Pai. Ajit Pai is no longer the chairperson of the FCC. So who knows? Maybe this will go the right way and net neutrality will be back. I don't know if there's net neutrality in Europe. Let me look. Europe. Net neutrality? Yeah, okay. The Net Neutrality Regulation 2015 is a regulation in EU law that lays down measures concerning open internet access. And of course, it has some loopholes that have been criticized by various groups, but the law is at least on the books. So in Europe, you guys get actually good internet, whereas in the United States, we pay for good internet and get bad internet. Basically is what that means, because companies can decide, like, yeah, actually you don't get good internet today, or actually you, after 6 p.m., our statistics show that most people don't use the internet very long after 7 in the evening, so we're going to throttle everybody's connection even though they pay for good internet. We lads such as myself can only hope, I guess. Yay! And now Trapinch is gonna evolve. Never mind, I am wrong. I fucking forgot what level Trapinch evolves at. Whoops. Alright. Everybody's level 30. Hold on, let me see what level. Updated gyms. Gym leaders. Oh, okay, so the 5th gym leader only caps out at level 31. That's nice. I guess in that case, I was thinking that the 5th gym goes up to level 35, but I guess that's not so. Alright, I guess I'm pretty close to being able to take up on that gym right now. I might just even go back to Petalburg and start fighting the gym trainers. And then if I don't get to level 31 for everybody by the time I'm done with those trainers, then I can come back and level grind some more with the wild Pokemon. You know? I forget if it, like... Trapinch I know evolves at somewhere from level 30 to 35. But I forget which level exactly it is. I know that Vibrava, the next thing that evolves into... The yawn could be a home for a whole rat family looking at its size. Yeah, I yawned pretty... Why? Ah, you made me yawn again because you brought it up. Sorry, that's content is what that is. You know, my cat kills rats sometimes. It's not very often that we get a rat, but there are mice running around. Sorry, anyone freaking out on even the thought of that possible torment. Yeah. Look, I think rats get a bad rap. They're mammals just like all the rest. You know, they're just a little bit bigger. They also tend to live in urban environments. It's not, you know, it's not rats that are inherently dirty. It's the environments that rats tend to live in that are, like, not clean. And then as a result, the rats aren't very clean. That, like, mice and voles and other rodents are about the same threat level as far as, like, diseases and stuff as rats. Rats can be a little bit annoying because they're bigger. You know, you might have to chase around a rat with a broom for a little bit longer than if you were chasing a mouse or something. Careful what you say, though, buddy. I'm a nature man, remember? Yeah, I got you. It's just that, like, you know, a lot of care doesn't necessarily go into maintaining city infrastructure sometimes. So, and rats, ever since cities have been a thing, they've sort of adapted to live in those environments. And those environments tend to be relatively dirty, but they provide decent conditions for rats to survive. So that's what's what. You don't usually hear about rats in the countryside. At least not as much. You tend to hear about them as a product of the environments in which they live. But there's nothing wrong necessarily with rats. At least not that isn't also wrong with mice, voles, capybaras, whatever other rodent lives out there. So, you know. I think they get unfairly hated upon. I wish they would get as much love as the capybaras. Although capybaras look way more goofy, which is super funny. It's kind of jarring. You know, the first time I saw a capybara, it was admittedly very jarring that there was a rodent of that size. You know, we think of rodents as literally mousy, as a synonym for sort of small and, like, skittish. You know, there are adjectives named for rodents to describe the behavior and stature of rodents. Mousy and squirrely, you know? That's the sort of things that we associate with them. And then here you have capybaras, which are neither. You know, it's like the size of a dog, which is, well, it is funny. You know. What's in here? The confusion room. Okay. I'm also very partial to that one meme with the rat smoking a cigarette where it just says, "Change the world. My final message. Goodbye." And then he disappears. The strength room. Please don't have a fighting type move. Well, he has Swords Dance. Okay. Good enough. Jody. No, I don't want to go in that room yet. Thank you, game. Defense room. I think I know what to do in this room, more or less. What else is there? Let's, oh, actually, I'm gonna remove this from the list, because I already talked about that. Remove that from the list, because I don't think it's, remove this as well. There we go. Okay, so I got a couple other things. There we go. Alright, alright. Rats be epic in the film world, though. Oh, like the movie Rats? I don't know if I've ever seen that movie. I have seen Ratatouille. That movie was cool. The one-hit KO room. Please don't hurt me, sir. By one-hit KO, does he mean strong enough to kill me in one hit, or does he mean, like, actually one-hit KO move, it uses guillotine? Okay, presumably he means it uses guillotine sometimes. Never mind, that's not what he meant. This is the critical hit room, not the one-hit KO room. Let's send out Lombre for this. Please? Please? Dang. I am gonna have to heal somebody, I think. Do I have healing items? I have a super potion. Okay. Looks like Aaron's gonna be the star of the show. Or Abby, I guess. Yeah, okay. And you only had the one Pokemon. Gym Leader's room. I think... Yeah, I've already gone through these rooms. Okay, so I'm gonna go level grind some more. Get everybody up to par. Unfortunately, I don't have the HM for Fly, so I'll have to, like, run back up there the long way around. To go through this forest again. Okay, here we go. I guess I could have used cut to see what's behind those trees, but yeah, whatever. Heal up. Go through... Not that way, go this way. Okay. Yeah. Over here. Oh, well, hey, dude. Oh, I got a repeat ball. Okay, that's cool. Repeat balls are good for catching Pokemon that you've already caught. I don't exactly know what the catch rate is on a Pokemon that you've caught already, or if it stacks with how many of those Pokemon you have. But it can be useful if you're looking for, like, if you're doing the thing where you catch a bunch of Pokemon for like, having good IVs, or like, good nature, or whatever, you know. Alright, back to the desert, I guess. Trying trying to... Okay, this next thing isn't going to be a segment either. But I did read a little bit more. I got a chance to read a little bit more about the UN mission to Haiti. You guys remember I mentioned I mentioned that, like, there's been gang violence and whatever, and then the UN is going to use that as an excuse to intervene and send in blue helmets and basically fuck shit up in Haiti like the international community has been doing ever since Haiti has existed because, you know, the West versus the rest and like, keeping it in a state of poverty, you know, etc., etc. Right? Apparently, the UN is actually going to be even more brutal than I was predicting them to be, because they're actually outsourcing this mission to Kenya. They're going to be sending in Kenyan blue helmets so that the UN isn't directly accountable. I think that it's like the Kenyan government is going to be bearing the brunt of the administrative task that is this UN mission. And I think they're doing it in such a way that, like, if anything happens, it's going to be technically Kenya's fault and not the UN. And that's how you know that some shit is about to happen, right? I didn't mean to do that, but I guess it's fine. And by some shit, I mean probably like killing civilians in the fray of like gang violence and whatever, because that's what police forces tend to do. And what's happening is basically the UN is committing a separate nation's military or a nation's paramilitary forces to be a pretty severe policing force in another country, a country that has historically been very unstable and had bad experiences with attempts at just strict policing with respect to you know, various issues of crime that really can't be solved by guys with guns. So that sucks. I guess there's not going to be any respite for Haiti today, or any time in the near to intermediate future. You know, sometimes it does really seem like on occasion that the state of the world, politically speaking, is only advanced as like the most far behind country, you know? And I come at this from a socialist perspective, right? There's people that talk about, like, the global socialist revolution. And I generally agree that, like, if we're gonna enter a socialist world at some point, it really does have to be, like, the whole world. Because right now, there is a global economy. And that economy is organized with capitalist structures. You know, private ownership, shareholders, executives, and whatever. And as long as there's a country where that's still the case, then it's very likely to be that the whole world in some form or another is going to be still in that system. And on those same lines, it seems that, like, then you have to look at, okay, well, what's the most far behind country in terms of economic development and social ownership? And Haiti seems to be among those ranks at the moment. Which is unfortunate. It's just basically the economic socialist argument equivalent to the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And right now there are a lot of very strong links in the chain. You know, the Western world has a lot of money, a lot of resources. There is a very present left body politic. Yeah, Venezuela, Afghanistan, Zimbabwe, like all those places that are just really not caught up to the rest of the world. You know, it's like the significant change is going to have to happen in what we would call the third world in order for, like, the entire world to be able to advance the dialectic, as it were, if that makes sense. But, you know, again, I refer back to the chain only being as strong as the weakest links. Okay, I think I can go back to Pedal Boat now. And of course, it is ironically fitting, I guess there is a certain irony to it, that the UN is getting one of the poorest countries in the world to police and keep in poverty another one of the poorest countries in the world. You know, Kenya, not known for its abundant wealth and high standard of living, you know. Whereas, you know, usually when you think of the UN, you typically think of, like, a lot of Western countries doing some virtue signals, and occasionally, like, a humanitarian mission that more often than not goes wrong, but, you know, they still do, they'll do a lot of good work in the meantime. Alright. It is time to challenge the gym. Now, I know that the gym leader is going to have 8 Pokemon. I don't know which, like, Pokemon is going to do the most damage to my team. I don't know what's going to be the most trouble, but let's just get started with Lombre. Alright, I'm pretty sure I can handle this fool. Alright? Probably. Ow. Okay, barely handled it, but, you know, that's good enough. Now, Chansey. Alright, I'm gonna try to actually save Combuskin, because Combuskin's like my silver bullet in all this. Let's send out Sigma. Okay, easy enough. Vigoroth. Alright, now I think it's time to pull out Combuskin for this. Do a couple of these. And I'll just try to go through on maybe 3 bulk ups. Okay, this is relatively easy. Yeah, alright. I guess I kind of sweat over nothing, really. Nice. Yay, I can use the HM Surf. And now I got also the TM for Facade. I don't know if I'm going to use that. Oh, is he going to give me the HM? Yeah, he gave me the HM for Surf. Nice. So now, I can actually teach Lombre a good water type move. Yes! Actually fulfilling the role of water type and not just grass type. What ability do you have? Guts? Oh my god, that's perfect. Ooh. Okay. Guts, what Guts does, right? This ability, the description is a little bit vague. It doubles your attack, right? It doubles your attack stat if you have a status condition. If you are asleep, paralyzed, burned, poisoned, whatever. What Facade does, the gimmick of Facade, the move, it's base 70 power and 100 accuracy, nothing too remarkable, but it also doubles in power if you are asleep, paralyzed, burned, or poisoned. And the best thing about Guts is that it bypasses the burn effect. I think both Guts and Facade do this. If you're burned, then usually your attack would get cut in half from being burned. But if you have the ability Guts or the move Facade, that's ignored when you use that. So I could potentially, if this guy gets burned, I could use Facade and have this multiplied by like 4. Or rather, have this multiplied by 2 and the move's power multiplied by 2. It's a really, really strong combination. And it's basically, I think, the reason that Swellow was so viable is because it has a not bad attack stat, and it's incredibly fast and has Guts, and can learn Facade. And people just kind of went to town with that, as they rightly should have. It's a great strategy. But as things are right now, I don't know if I have the occasion to do this. Unfortunately, what Facade does not do is it does not negate the penalties when you are paralyzed. When you're paralyzed, you lose half your speed, and that will still happen. Special? No, get rid of that. Learn Facade. Yeah. Alright. I think now what the game actually wants you to do is, like, start surfing places. So I'm going to go over to Route 104, and I'm going to start surfing. I'm just going to go out on the water here. Yay, check me out. And look at that, there's a trainer here. And they'll have Pokemon that are appropriately leveled. I wish I would learn a better Grass-type move than Absorb. It's only 20 power, huh? Remoraid. Nature power turned into Surf. So I have 2 of Surf, which means I could use it twice as many times, which is great. Very good. Get out of here, Wumpa. Alright. I have now changed the scenery. I will now beat up people in the water, as opposed to just on land. And of course, as I say that, I go back on land. Nice. And I should probably send you out for this. Oh no. Okay, that works. Okay. There's an item over here, right? Yeah, okay, there's a little gap in the trees there. It's gonna be a double battle, and then there's an item somewhere there. Let's see what's up. Birdkeeper and a Hiker. I think I made the right decision having these 2 Pokemon out front for this. Maybe not Aeron, because he's vulnerable to ground-type moves. Like, really vulnerable to ground-type moves. Well, I mean, if you keep using Sand Attack, then there's not that much worry on my end of things, I suppose. It works out in my favor. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Ah, a big pearl. That can be sold for money. Carvanha. You know, Carvanha and Sharpedo are unfortunate cases in Generation 3 in the regular games because they are a water and dark type. Same thing with Crawdon. They are physical attacking water and dark types, but in Generation 3, water and dark are special types. This was, this was before the physical special split or whatever. So whether a move was special or physical was determined by what type it was. So they couldn't benefit really from their typing. Those Pokemon. Same thing with Gyarados, actually. It's like Waterfall and other water-type moves that would later be physical, like those existed, but they were still special. Let's switch Esteban up front. Hoppip, what are you doing on the water? Just floating around, I guess. Okay. Protein. I don't need that because that's one of the EV stat drinks, but I can sell it for money if I need to. And who knows, I might need to. Let me actually, here. I probably have like 200 Pokemon cards. I have somewhere in the range of thousands of Pokemon cards. I used to collect them when I was a kid, but now they're all sitting in storage from various eras of Pokemon. After Generation 5, I think I don't have any Pokemon cards. So anything that's like 2013 or newer, I probably don't have any cards. Oof. To get Dive? Well, I mean, there's a department store in Lily Cove, so I can... Very rare one from 1974. They didn't make Pokemon cards that long ago. It was been probably from the late 90s. I have some of the Pokemon cards from like the first set of cards from 1995 or 6, which are pretty cool, but very rough compared to like the kind of designs and stuff they have nowadays on the cards. Ooh. I feel like everybody who... It was a special version? I got you, yeah. The super special, we invented time travel for this card version. I feel like everybody who collects Pokemon cards has like the... There's like a couple cards that they have that are really rare and like older. You know? And like just not even for playing with or whatever, just to kind of to have. Because it is really like it's a collecting thing. Like a lot of people engage with it to collect, even if they also play the Pokemon card game. You know, which I've heard from my friends who also play certain tabletop and card games. It's like a faster version of Magic the Gathering, which is good because Magic the Gathering is slow as balls. I've played the Pokemon card game and I've played Magic the Gathering, like a couple rounds of each. It's slow as balls. Magic is. No hate to people that play Magic though. It just requires a lot more patience than I have for a game. Oh, I know what we're coming up on this route. There's a shipwreck in this game that you get to explore. It's very cool. Yeah, there it is. No, don't hit yourself in confusion. Ooh, that rock has to have a hidden item. My hidden item senses are tingling. Hidden item! I was wrong. There was not a hidden item there. Ah, there are battles on the ship. Let's go fight these people. Let's target that Wailmer because it has the potential to do the most damage to me. Yeah, it's water type. Or C. Same thing again. Target acquired. Oh. Alright, there we go. Hey! Abby is evolving. I don't even know what Aeron, like what animal it's supposed to be, but fuck it, I guess. In that way, it's kind of reminiscent of the older, like, Generation 1 designs, because it's just a vaguely, like, dinosaur-shaped thing. Nice. Small iron thing evolved into bigger iron thing. Oh, cool. Now I have way more attack and way more defense. Ooh. Yeah, I guess I can keep them out front. Hello. Ooh. Oh, I can go in there? What? I didn't realize I could just go in that door, dude. God, now I've given myself the hiccups. Ah, a sailor. I drew a red X on him. And then he died. Because I drew a red X. You see, when I draw the red X, it means no, you are not anymore. And it killed him. Poor guy. We will miss him. That door's locked. This guy's clearly throwing up. Yeah, okay. Sorry, dude. That guy's having a bad time. Dive ball. That's good for catching Pokemon in the underwater areas when you use dive. It's very specific. Escape rope. Okay. That's cool. And some food, which will make the minions very jealous. Ah. Enjoy the food. I am currently being accosted by a toddler. This is a double battle. I'm not gonna do that yet. That's also a double battle, which I will do right now. Both these guys are dangerous. I'm gonna go Sandslash first. Yeah. Okay, cool. Same thing. Not as dangerous. Cool. Nice. You make me... Did they say, like, you make me angry? Here's my phone number? Damn. Fuck you. Anyway, here's my number. Pokemon characters, NPCs, are something else. Find a scanner. Ooh. Perhaps that has something to do with that locked door earlier that I will now enter. I have the storage key. There we go. Ice Beam! Alright, sick! That's a good move. It's a really good move. I'm gonna teach that to both of the people that can learn it, I think. First, I'll teach it to Sai. You can forget Astonish. And then I will teach it to you, Yasmin. And you can forget... Ooh. Forget Nature Power. Nature Power can turn into some cool stuff, but I'd rather just know consistently what type my move is. Now I guess I gotta go see what... Like... There's gotta be another door here somewhere, right? Yeah. Well, that's one. Let's go through this again. So we go down here, and I've gone through these areas already. Oh, I would need dive to do that. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is something I can't complete right now. I would have to come back to it once I have the move dive. So, for now, I'll just move on. Sure. I have walked into a trap. Anyways. Ow. Oh, come on! Stop missing all your attacks! Dude. Alright, that works. The mighty Red X strikes again. Hey, level 33. And also level 33 there. Trying to learn Crunch. Ooh, what a good move. I'll forget Bite. Another Manectric. Okay. Okay. Let's do this again. Let's try this again. Like that. I cannot believe I didn't get paralyzed by physical contact with the Manectric. Also, I'm surprised that Sailor had electric-type Pokemon and not water types. Unless that was... No, that was the Sailor. Bizarre. I'll switch Esteban to this position here. I got the item measure, right? Yeah. It's just chilling there out in the open. What else was I gonna mention? Oh yeah. You know, I occasionally I'll watch certain leftist like content creators on YouTube that do video essays as opposed to like live streams and stuff. You know, it's different kinds of content. One of them is Tom Nicholas. He does some good stuff, and he said something that really was interesting to me in his latest video about what he called the grift economy, or like griftonomics, or whatever it was. Is that like there was the transition from the pre-2008 crash world to the post-crash world resulted in a lot of office jobs and a lot of stable like salary jobs just being permanently lost to time. Like a lot of those are never going to come back. You know, entire sectors and positions even. And it resulted in a massive shift downward in the wealth demographics of people who would otherwise be working those jobs. Like, a lot of the people who worked white-collar jobs that paid decently well leading up to the crash, after the crash, were in many cases able to get jobs, but the jobs they got were, like, part-time or gigs or in retail, and not in a comparable spot to what they were working prior, you know? Life got economically worse. But then, in addition to that, the kind of work that they were doing, like the kind of work that was most prevalent in the economy changed as well, where initially it was all wage jobs and salary jobs, was like the occasional gig, the occasional contract thing, right? But after the 2008 crash, this has sort of been happening in the lead up as well, but really after the crash this ramped up. We started seeing a lot more gig-based jobs coming to the forefront, and like that becoming the new kind of work. At least in the United States, I know this is the case, and Tom Nicholas is from Britain, so I assume this would be the case in some places in Europe as well. You know, with the rise of Uber and DoorDash and all of those associated services, where he remarked, or he quoted somebody, like one of the business tycoons that sort of wrote fluff pieces in that era, remarked, you know, Uber is a ride-sharing company, transportation company, that owns no vehicles. DoorDash is a food delivery and distribution company that owns no food and owns no restaurants. And Airbnb was the other big one. Airbnb is a rental company, a real estate company that owns no properties. And he said that, you know, that like the main thing that these companies own is like it's the platform. The platform, like the app that you go to use these services, is like the thing that those companies own that makes them so much money. But I thought of something else apart from that. In addition to that, I should say. It's that's certainly a factor. Do I not have a town map? Oh, it's probably my Pokemon nav. Yeah, okay. And the other thing that I thought of was that in the 19th century, and of course now as well, socialists talk about the means of production, right? The means of production. In capitalism, it's held privately. In socialism, it would be owned in common. It would be held publicly. That sort of thing, right? But when people say the means of production, whatever their political leanings, usually the connotations of that are literally material objects, resources, factories, locations, things, you know, that make production easier, like machines and stuff as well. But now the concept of the means of productions have sort of changed. Like, they've gone through another level of abstraction. Previously, you would have a capitalist that owned machines and stuff, machines and factories and things like that, and that would be the source of their wealth. And then it became, well, they don't actually directly own the machines and the factories and whatnot. They own shares in the company, and the company owns, like, the machines and factories and so forth, right? And the vehicles, the whatever. And then with the gig economy, you get another layer, which is, instead of just owning shares in the company and the company owns those things, now the company doesn't even own the vehicles, the machines, the locations, whatever. Now somebody could own a share of the company, but what the company owns is a person, and that person's time, right? If somebody works for Uber, right, the thing that Uber owns, in addition to the app, Uber owns your time if you work for them, right? And that's how they get their money. Because if you think of it, like, technically you could be using that platform and just keep that money for yourself. You know, if you had a different payment method, under a different set of circumstances, all that money could be going to the driver instead of the company. But as a product of working for that company and using their platform and spending your time under them, they expect that money from you. Which, again, that's like, it's sort of just a distillation of the relationship that has already existed. You go to work, you work your salary job or your wage job, and your employer, the profit they make is money that you and other people would have otherwise been making, right? Like the exploitation inherent to the system and all that. But in Uber's case, now it's not even like they don't own the office, they don't own the, like, well, I think they do have an office actually, but they don't own the vehicles, they don't own any of the associated machinery that makes their operation work. They own the people. They own the people driving the cars. They don't own the cars. Those cars belong to those people. But for 8 hours of the day, Uber owns those people. They own their time. And I think one of the things that I thought about that was, I wonder what kind of impact that could have on people thinking about, like, how work is and like what their relationship is with their work. Would that make it harder for people to recognize the spot that they're in as far as, like, exploitation goes? Or would that make it easier for them to recognize, hey, hold on a minute, that's it's like, you know, that they you know, these corporations own my time. Why don't I get to use this time? Why don't I get the full value of my time or whatever? I don't know if it's going to make that sort of realization harder or easier for a lot of people, but it is for me, I guess it would be made easier, but like everybody out there isn't me. You know, I'm not in anybody else's head except for my own. But from a theoretical perspective, from an economic perspective, and from a sociological perspective, I think it's an interesting thing to think about, that the means of production almost doesn't refer to the actual things anymore, but it refers to the time of the people who then use those things to produce goods and services, right? Like, you know, you have somebody behind a counter. The counter isn't the means of production anymore. It's abstracted behind so many levels of like shared ownership and split ownership that it's like impossible to tell. But what is the means of production, what you can tell is owned by somebody else, is the person working behind the counter. Their time is owned by somebody else, and that's what makes that somebody else so much money. I hope that makes sense, and not like, you know, I hope I don't come off as like insanely rambling when I say stuff like that. I don't think this is going to be a segment. This is not going to be a segment, but I thought it was something worth commenting on with the whole, you know, the relations of production. I'm sure that if, like, there are probably many socialist academics that have stuff to say about that, and I'm sure if like Marx and Engels and whoever else were alive today, they would have stuff to say about that. And I'm actually interested to know what those things are that they would say. I actually kind of want to know what other people think of the like the unique relations of the gig economy. Oops. Sound pretty fun. There's some cool Pokemon here. It's too bad this is pretty late in the game. You know, on another run, I might have wanted to get a Porygon. Porygon 2 is a pretty cool Pokemon. It's very defensive. And it would be very well served of me, I think, if I were to use a Pokemon like that for like a special attacker. Because then I would have some bulk as well. I think the only defensive Pokemon, really defensive Pokemon that I have right now is Abby. And then Lombre has some special defense as well, but I think no, I fully invested in that, that's right. So I have 2 defensive Pokemon on my team. 2 out of 8, it's not bad. That's either an item or a Voltorb or an Electrode disguising itself as an item in order to fool me. Okay, no, it's an item. This is a trick. No, it's not. It's an Ultra Ball. Oh, you can go back down this way. That's cool. A lot of Pokemon here. Okay, I could step on that switch, but I want to see what's to the right. Alright, 3rd time's a charm. This one is a silly, funny, haha Pokemon in disguise. Yes! I knew one of them was. And it's a Voltorb. Okay. Okay, he is now gone. So I gotta go to this other room. Fuck. I know one of these is a Voltorb and the other one isn't. That's the Voltorb. Okay. This is not a Voltorb. Aha! It's a Paralyze Heal. That's pretty useful in a place like this, I guess. Should probably switch you from out. Well, I'll keep you out front for now. I could go this way. Huh. Alright, we're doing this again. This is pick a Pokeball right now. Dex, you come out front. That's a Voltorb. Okay. And another one. Another one? No, it's a full heal. Nice. I like full heals. They're good for me. Very good for my tum-tum. Right. I was not going to use Jolteon. I remember. I need to get in that room. Am I just supposed to step on that and then it's like all my problems have now been solved in the game? I think that's actually what I'm supposed to do. That is exactly what I'm supposed to do. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to go in that room. It was this room. It was the previous room had fooled me. It had deceived me. It was actually it was a trick. I've been bamboozled. That's a Thunderstone. Generator appears to have stopped. Okay. If I recall correctly, you go back and talk to what's his name, Watson, and he's like, "Great, now go restart the generator again." And then it's just like, fucking what? I have to step on another button. Which is really dumb. Where's the switch that I can press? Oh, it's over here. Yeah, okay. Huh? Zapdos? What are you doing here? Probably made this like a really rare encounter that you can find. I'm gonna try to catch it. No. Put yourself in confusion. Yes. Alright, here we go. Ultra Ball, do it. No status conditions, please. Welcome to the I load state over and over again section of the game, where I try to catch Zapdos. God damn it. I don't know if confusion counts as a status condition, but I don't think it does. Oh, well, there we go. Alright, well, I got it. I have a funny joke lined up if I catch all 3 birds. I'm gonna name it Zwei, right? Like 2 in German. And then well, you'll see. If I get to a stage late enough in the game where I'm pretty confident I'm not going to encounter any more of the legendary birds, I will reveal what the joke was going to be. But right now, you will have to keep guessing. And you will also have to tune into future streams. Got him. God, I'm so slick. I'm not that slick. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, who's ready for this crotchety old guy to tell me, go restart the generator again after you just turned it off? Hello, sir. Oh, never mind, he just gives me the TM for Thunderbolt. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Now, I will teach Thunderbolt to some people. Like you. And by some people, I mean one person. Okay. Forget Mean Look, I guess. I don't expect to give too much of a shit about roaming Pokemon in this game, so... You know, that's what's what, I guess. I guess I could have Maria out front. There's no harm in that. Yes, now I'm supposed to go east, I think. I need to go up to... That's Fortree. And Lily Cove is over here? Yeah. Cool. And then once I'm in Lily Cove, then finally I can have a I can get a Water Stone. Because this is one of the other features of this ROM hack. Is that the guy made it so that you can buy the evolution stones in the department store, which is really nice because I do not want to have to wait until after the 7th gym. Like, Lily Cove is already pretty late in the game. I don't want to have to wait till I'm already like level 40 plus to get a water stone for Lombre. Although who knows? Given the pace that I'm taking here, it's also entirely possible that I might hit level 40 something before I get to the point where I would be able to buy one. Do I want to be interviewed again? Sure. Come over. Nah, that's kind of, that's, delete all. Yes. Greetings. Hoo-ha, this was great. This is, I've always said this. Okay, bye. Thank you. I'm a fisherman, but also a trainer. I'm raising the Pokemon that I caught. That's if I read it just as it's written there, because he put it in caps lock. Fucking caps lock maniacs think they can get away with this. Can you believe that they think they can get away with this? They're right, they can. I can't change the text in-game. Hidden item? No, absolutely nothing, in fact. Hello, Steven. I have met many Pokemon, in fact. I've caught 8 of them. At least 8 of them. Tired. This is what I was saying at the beginning of the stream about the air being thin and me not being able to fucking pace myself. Whatever, I'm having, it's surprising. Guess I'm the wrong streamer then. Yeah, it's true. You're gonna want to find a streamer who can change the in-game dialogue of the game that they're playing. Listen very carefully. You know. I mean, I've been having quite a bit of fun this stream, so I don't care as much that I'm, like, super tired, but I'm definitely gonna feel it after stream is done. I will need to make a hot chocolate for myself. That would be good, I think. Bird Pokemon. Oh yeah, that's like a mistranslation, I think, from Japanese. Because originally flying type was supposed to be bird type, but then they realized, wait, we're dumb. Not all of the flying types that we've made in this game are going to actually be birds. Because, you know, Gyarados exists, and that's a fucking Leviathan. So they changed it to flying type, which I think is a much better nomenclature. Sure. Now we're actually getting some... These actually aren't evolved Pokemon because they don't have a prior form, but we're getting some much more, like, some much stronger Pokemon. It definitely, like, forces to be reckoned with, whereas previously you'd get unevolved baby's first dickhead Pokemon. Get, like, fucking Meryl, bouncing blue ball. And now you get giant scarab beetle, giant beetle of death, of doom, of suplex, of death. Death. Gloom? That's a grass type. Grass types, as we all know, are ass types. Many such cases. Switch, I guess I'll have Yasmin out front. And by that I mean accidentally put it in the second slot and I will have Haunter out front, sure. Oh, you can't fit in there? Dang. Is this the daycare? No, it's the Berry Master's house. Okay. I think I've reached the end of this road here. Right? Like after these... Yeah. Okay, so I'll battle them. Yeah, I definitely knew that. Very true. I'll use Fake Out, sure. Free flinch. I'll probably actually hang on to Fake Out as a move in my moveset for quite a while. It's pretty good. It's just a little tiny bit of free damage, and then you flinch the opponent. Yeah, you make them flinch and stuff so that you get another turn. Ah, I didn't fight this guy. I see. Ooh. What a knuckle crack. Oh, he's evolving too. I guess all the trait evolutions just evolved the level after. Man, ain't Spotify just so great? I wouldn't know. I don't use Spotify. Look at that, it's Gengar. Look at him. It's like Clefable, but he's purple. He's also stubbier than Clefable. Whoa, what's going on with Spotify? Why do you mention it? Is it like doing some shit where it's like, oh, don't forget to paid subscription so you don't get ads, and then you have the paid subscription, it gives you ads anyway. Or some shit like that. Because that's what I've heard from people who listen to Spotify frequently. Oh, this section. Okay, this is a really cool, like... This is a, like, programmer showing off moment, which is actually really cool. So these guys in the grass, the gimmick of this area, these guys can't fucking see, right? Because they're stuck in the tall grass. But they move, every time you move, they move in a random direction. I know that my bro says that Subsonic is way superior, but I'm already listening to Spotify. I just mentioned it because I love me some music. Oh yeah, music is always nice. See this guy here. He's turning and moving in random directions as I'm moving. Like he's doing random things as I'm doing things. But if I just stand still, these guys would also stand still. Like I could stand still. I'll speed up. And he doesn't move. But once I move, you see he turned there. And now he moves. All for the sake of, like, hey, what if there's, like, a field full of tall grass and nobody can see anything? That would be a cool game section, I think. Which is really, really, like, given the GBA and the limited stuff that you could do on a Game Boy cart in this sort of game engine, I think it's pretty cool. Also, this is a really bad matchup between Trapinch and Masquerain here, because Masquerain is bug flying, but it does have water type moves, I think. It learns like water pulse and stuff. And it's also raining in this area, which means water type moves are twice as powerful. Damn it, Dustox, stop spamming protect. Alright, cool. Maybe now I will? No. So it's either level 35 or 36 that Trapinch evolves, in which case I would have been off by 1 earlier when I said level 31 to 35. What's up, Bugcatcher? Bugcatchers are pretty easy, like, consistently easy EXP. Because bug types, like, they're very frail. But the evolved ones do give good experience when you KO them. So that's cool. And now sorry, I burped. And it, like, interrupted my fucking speech. Now, finally, the rest of my team is caught up to Combusken. God damn it. Get this guy out of here. There's also, I think, there is an area with not super tall grass, but like regular grass in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, where the gimmick is that it's the shape of the inside of a Game Boy cartridge. Like, it's the inside of a Fire Red and Leaf Green game cart, which is a cute Easter egg, but I don't know, like, why exactly they put it in the game. I don't know. I guess that they do have some sort of leeway to like break the immersion just ever so slightly, because it's the post game. It, like, Fire Red and Leaf Green, I think, was the first game with a really good post game for me, I think, in the Pokemon series. And that was the Sevi Islands. You went to that island chain. And one part of that was you went through the, like, Pattern Bush, I think it was called. And it was a tall grass field in the configuration of the insides of the game cart of the game you were playing. What? Oh, this is the person that gives you fly. Or maybe not. Maybe it isn't. Maybe she just has a house full of Wingles. Ma'am, what is wrong with you? Why are you living in a house populated full of seagulls? Why are they roaming your, what appears to be your dining room and the rest of your abode, very freely and unimpeded? That can't be good for you. For your mental health or your physical health. They gotta be, like, pooping everywhere or something. I can surf across here. I should do that. What's up, fisherman? You spoke to me. That means you want to challenge me. Pokemon logic. Man, you don't have some seagulls in your kitchen just chilling? I guess I know. I'm not with it. I'm not in the know. All the cool kids have seagulls chilling in their kitchen. You know? Very good pet to pet. That's probably true. Pets are nice. Seagulls are probably nice sometimes. I do not have them though. Not in my kitchen. Also not in my living room. Not in my house in general. Not in my front yard or in my neighborhood or in the vicinity where I live. They live at the beach. I don't. Many such cases. I'm fucking loopy today, dude. Zinc. That's another one of those EV boosting items. That, again, I won't need, because I used PK Hex. Full disclosure, because I hate EV training, and I hate trying to find a Pokemon with, like, a decent nature. It's like one of those things, it's like a genie in the bottle, right? Once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. And, like, now that I know about EVs and IVs, I can't not know. I can't, like, unlearn that. And so now it's just going to be in my mind forever. So either, like, one or two things happens, right? Either I get hung up on, like, literally every Pokemon I battle, trying to perfectly craft my EVs to be the way I want them, or, like, I use PK Hex and spare myself the trouble and get to have fun playing the Pokemon game casually. Okay, there we go. That's how you do that. I forgot what if you press B slightly before up or up slightly before B, but it's the second one. There's nothing here. Epic. Please? Secret item? Maybe? Okay, calcium. So it's not nothing, but it's basically nothing. What about over here? Nothing. Okay, so it's just that calcium. Alright, cool. Get off that bike. There are berries here, but I'm not doing a very berry heavy playthrough. Ah, hello. Psybeam. Psybeam again. There's a lot. Grass poison is actually a really common type combo. That actually makes me wonder what is the single most common type combination in all of Pokemon. Because it like, in my mind, there's a couple contenders of, like, you know, grass poison comes to mind. Bug poison comes to mind as well. But I'm not sure. Normal flying is another one that you see quite a bit. Let's put Sigma up front. Hopefully I don't encounter a water type. That would suck. Hello. Literally as I say that. Okay, just use water sport. Nothing to be too concerned over. Sir, I'm gonna have to ask for your license and registration. Do you have a license for that bird? Dude, imagine you're, like, flying around on a Pokemon, and a cop in the Pokemon world comes up to you and is like, "Sir, I'm gonna need to see some license registration for that bird. Do you have a permit to be flying that bird around?" Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you and your bird to stop resisting. Sir, I will have you know, sir, your bird appears to be engaging in disorderly conduct. I'm gonna have to bring it down to the station for questioning. There we go. I mean, in America, they would just shoot the bird, because they shoot the dogs in America, you know? Man. Dude, that kid was hiding behind a cardboard cutout. That's the funniest shit. It's literally like you're playing hide and seek with your little cousin, and it's like, oh no, where could he be? And you see his little feet sticking out from behind the curtains, like, Sir, your bird is too aggressive. It's killing all the local pigs, in specific the green one, so we have to shoot him, sir. Very true. The fucking Angry Bird's ass. Local experts say that a contamination of water with illicit substances has driven the local bird population into a frenzy, which appears to be harming the local ecosystem, particularly the pigs. You know, many farmers are upset at this, and they've asked the police to intervene. Kashi and, well, I don't know. I think I have an idea of where I want to leave off for today. I'll get there soon enough. Ah, okay, it was level 35. I was right when I said level 31 to 35. And now we get actually a weaker but significantly faster Dragonfly. If you can believe it, this is not the first Dragonfly Pokemon that has been in the game. But it is the first Dragon-type Dragonfly Pokemon. Dragon Breath. Now, that's a special move, but it is Dragon-type, so I'm going to probably... I'll forget Sand Attack. So yeah, you can see my attack is much lower now than it was earlier. But my speed is much higher, so that's good. And in just 10 more levels, I'm going to have a fully evolved Flygon on my team. It'll be great. Ah, yes. Okay, no. There is another point that I have to go through before I get to the point I was initially thinking of. So in that case, even though it's like, it's a couple of minutes early... This is the Weather Institute, by the way. This is where you get that cast form. You can rest in that bed. That's cool. And there's a PC for your convenience. I'm actually going to save the game and sort of call it here. Thank you for joining. This has been a great live stream. Very fun. Very cool. Many clips and stuff. You know, there might be a good segment to come out of this. And I'll see you guys next time, which should be, since today's Wednesday, should be on Friday. And now with that said, let's find somebody to raid. Who do we got? Mango. Mango is practicing Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. Spelled with a 0. Intended for mature audiences. 44.1k channel points, dang. Let's go. You're rolling in it, dude. Viewer discretion is advised for this next stream. Have fun. I'll see you guys later.